My name is Jared Accettura, as just mentioned. I'm the head of sales development at Mavenoid. Today we're going to be talking about AI and people, how to combine artificial intelligence and humans to provide better customer support. So this is actually going to be a little bit, to start off, somewhat duplicative to the presentation that Derek just gave, which I think was excellent. And I really enjoyed a lot of the talks earlier as well about smart or intelligent applications of artificial intelligence. So a little bit about Mavenoid. We're a pre-Series B startup. We focus on automating tech and product support online, so fully digital, for a variety of industries, but all industries that provide hardware, that manufacture physical products. So less in the general retail space, less in, say, the airline space. Think consumer electronics, home appliances, smart devices, but then also even industrial level type equipment. Troubleshooting is inherent. Customer support is inherently different for hardware. It's not a, where's my order, where's my flight? It's actually physical troubleshooting that needs to happen in order to automate that. So that's where we're at. Here's me in a hoodie. Here's me in a blazer. You can dress me up. You can dress me down, whatever you want. Now the subtext here, just in general, and Seth actually alluded to this really well earlier, modern customer experience is fundamentally different than it was 3 years ago, than it was 5 years ago, than it was 10 years ago. The customer expectations of everybody in this room, all consumers, have been raised significantly. We expect instant service. We're all 100% mobile on our iPhones or our Androids, so expectations have risen at the same time as a variety of different softwares, technologies, many of them powered by AI, have come into the fold. We're going to define a little bit about kind of both sides of what is phenomenal CX. How do you deliver good customer support, good customer experience in this modern context? And then how can you best find the right ways to apply AI? So that's what I'm going to be focused on a little bit today. Let's start with what makes for phenomenal CX. So we all have smartphones. Today's consumer is 100% mobile. There's different channels of communication, and Derek alluded to a few of them, that literally didn't exist 3-5 years ago. WhatsApp, SMS, contact centers, customer service teams have not been required to actually provide service across those tickets. But as you saw in those screenshots, people are tweeting at companies every single day, 24/7. So it's quite a challenge for many, many companies. So you need to be timely. To start out with, we're going to put ourselves in the shoes of a customer, which is 100% what I would recommend all businesses do. So being timely is important. 67% of customers prefer self-service before speaking to a company representative. So you do indeed need to be instant with your service. That's something that a lot of AI tools can potentially do. Being effortless and seamless, this speaks to two real threads in my mind. Number one is that customers don't want to jump through hoops, and more specifically, they don't want to repeat themselves. That's the enemy of a customer service experience, and we can all relate to it certainly. Having to repeat yourself over chat, and then over email, and over the phone, there's almost nothing that's going to frustrate a customer more than that. So that's thread number one. Thread number two is that they want to be met at the channels that they are at. They're most using Twitter, they're most using WhatsApp, they expect you to be there. So being effortless and seamless speaks to those 2 points. And then a little bit of additional research here. Over 60% of us in the US prefer an automated self-service, either on website or within an app, for even the most simple of customer service tasks. Now, being personal still matters here. So all that, I think, makes sense as far as how we can see AI playing, but being personal still matters. 75% of consumers want brands to personalize their customer service. There's still many people that prefer to pick up the phone and talk to a human. Now, perhaps that's a demographic that's changing, but it still matters, and it can still have a direct impact on the bottom line of the business. Final one is relevancy, and this plays really big in our space, the hardware space, where there's a lot of information online. a lot of customer support content, customer product documentation online. Most all of us will go online and Google something. We'll search for something. We're clicking through, we're searching, we're trifling through information to find something that's relevant. And with the proliferation of information that's online, very difficult to find a correct answer or a relevant answer there. That frustrates 74% of us, which sounds a little bit low when I build it up in that way, right? Maybe it should be 84%. That's looking at it from the customer's perspective. Here's looking at it from the company's perspective. So there is a huge challenge and a misconception, really, in the customer support space is that the contact center is a cost center to your business. It costs money. Traditionally, you're hiring headcount. You're buying tools for new channels. You're spending so much money. This is a major challenge that customer support leaders are up against. But with the technologies in the space today, it is possible through good CX strategy to turn that cost center mentality into a revenue driver for the company. And the way to do it is to look at the bottom line. So from a company's perspective, you need to leave a positive impression on your customers. 52% of consumers say they've made an additional purchase from a company after a positive customer service experience. I would say I probably have too, and perhaps there's industries where that drives revenue more than other industries, but that's huge. That's loyalty, that's lifetime value. That's real ROI for these businesses. Now, this next one in the middle, being cost and resource efficient, that's sort of like the holy grail for any business unit, any department across the board, right? But it is indeed possible. Research on our end shows that for large enterprises in the industrial space, investment in CX software tools have driven up to 1.8x revenue increases across a period of 36 months. So I don't have that stat listed here, but that's a big one. And finally, driving value. So another consequence of providing customer support, great customer support, you can get those repeat buyers, you can drive lifetime value, loyalty. That's real ROI, and that's an important thing to think about from a company's perspective. So boiling this down a little bit, two main issues. Customers have massive expectations in the year 2022, and they want instant help. Problem number two, you still, as a business, need to provide high-quality service, no matter what. High-quality solutions to keep those people happy. Here's a few categories across the industries that we play in of attempts to solve those issues. And they can go a little bit haywire. Good ideas that can go a little bit haywire. That's sort of like the theme of customer experience in terms of this presentation here. So deflection. If no one's familiar with this term, this is like a buzzword. This is like a hot term in the customer service space. There's a lot of bots, chat bots, that are attempting to simply deflect ticket volume, right? You have all these consumers, you have a contact center, they're busy, let's deflect as many issues as we possibly can. Good idea, right? But it's very difficult to know if somebody is, say, deflected from submitting a ticket across one channel, if they didn't just come right back and submit a ticket across another channel, perhaps even more frustrated. And we play in the hardware space where real solutions matter. Reaching a resolution for an issue with a piece of hardware, you can't deflect that. It's difficult to solve with self-service. So simply deflecting inbounds coming in can look like a good idea, but unless those people are actually solving their issues, you're really just causing more problems for yourself. That's category number one. Category number two, let's just direct more questions to our live channels. Let's potentially hire more agents, hire more headcount. Let's train them up. Let's give them the tools that they need to provide better answers. A good idea, certainly, but that comes with a cost. Derek mentioned it. After the pandemic, customer service representatives are coming back. They're wanting a premium, something that could potentially be a cost driver for the business. Number three, handing over those self-service interactions to live channels. And this is sort of what we try to do with the hybrid approach that I'm going to kind of walk you guys through here. It's self-service off the bat. I mentioned earlier, 2/3 of us want self-service off the bat. Perfect. What about those other third? Well, we have a contact center. They're ready to solve those issues. But the problem is that there's not a lot of tools that provide both in one platform. So suddenly, the customer has to wait on hold or jump to a different system while the agent on their end waits to receive the information from the customer. Different systems really cause friction in this handover experience. It's rarely smooth, and then what generally will happen, the cardinal sin, the customer has to then repeat themselves, repeat their issue once more on both sides, ends up causing friction. So that's point number 3. Point number 4 is fairly specific to the hardware space, and I'll kind of walk you guys through it now. High quality help requires a field visit. For physical products, and the best way to kind of visualize it for kind of a consumer audience is, think about like your dishwasher or your laundry machine. Big, you paid a lot for it, probably came under warranty. You might not want to put your hands on that thing to fix it yourself. You're probably expecting Bosch or Whirlpool or whatever the company is to send somebody on site. Completely realistic. However, and I'll kind of walk folks through it in the networking session after this if you want to meet me at my table. You're spending a huge amount of money as a Bosch or a Whirlpool, sending people on site for issues that truly the customer could solve themselves. Child lock, for example, was the #1 error code for some of Bosch's washing machines in the UK. It was causing probably 44% of the people that were going on site to fix these washing machines were running into very simplistic problems, sort of in that space. It's a massive investment of the company. If you would be able to automate and help people self-serve in those issues, specifically through virtual support, video support, you could save a lot of money. Let's move into the AI portion, and just to re-clarify, I'm the head of sales development. I'm a sales guy. I am not on the level of some of the people in this room, and certainly none of them that have spoken to this point. So I'm going to break down AI in very much layman's terms, but specifically, these are 3 buckets that help me sort of demystify what AI can be in the context of some of the customer support tools that we run into. So number 1 is machine learning, and let's say I'm somebody that's scared of AI. I hear machine learning, I'm like, okay, this is like a black box to me. There's useful ideas here. Self-teaching models can 100% automate a lot of different things. That sounds really great. But then I have experiences on my own running into machine learning bots. They're attempting to be humans. I have a negative connotation of now what machine learning is. So machine learning can be sort of a black box, even though it's extremely powerful. The one in the middle here, content creation, is in my mind the biggest opportunity for improvement in the customer service space. It's the biggest opportunity for AI to come in and drive better self-service resolutions. And when I say content creation, I'm talking about, at a very minimum, FAQs online. I'm talking about help center articles. I'm talking about how-to guides, videos that many companies will create to help somebody install or set up one of their physical devices. Guides, product guides, manuals. These are things that big hardware companies make available online because if you wanted to read through a manual, you could probably solve your issue. But what if that manual was 120 pages, 130 pages? Not going to do it. Absolutely not going to do it. So using AI in an intelligent way to bubble up the right content, making sure it's relevant, of course, in a customer-facing interaction online, huge opportunity for growth that we've seen in the market, and particularly, as I spoke to, the hardware space in general. Third one, NLP. So core functionality for a lot of tools, ensuring that a customer's issue is comprehended correctly, whether that's over text, over audio. Huge opportunity for scale, right? Large enterprises, they sell in multiple countries. You need to provide functioning technology in Spanish, in English, in Italian, in Portuguese. What types of tools do that? Very important to think about. So, wrapping it together a little bit here, intelligent application of AI. Identify the business needs, figure out where it makes the most sense for your company, but always keep the customer in mind. Where you're going to win is making your customers happy. That's the bottom line in the contact center. So you always need to keep that as sort of your North Star. On the flip side, however, AI can have some drawbacks. So AI tools can be high effort. Many tools require many months to be trained up. They need data pumped into their system all the time in order to kind of get to a place where it's going to have that effect that, down the line, you certainly want to buy into. There's also, on the flip side of that, on the agent side, a lot of training that they might need to do in order to figure out how to best use this AI. Like I said, it can be a little bit scary. It can be a little bit of a black box. If you're going to invest in digital transformation, you got to think about who's going to be using it within your organization and how can that person be taught. How much effort is going to take to get them on board, understanding all those good things. Lacking a personal touch, totally a stereotype, but one that I think has been touched on already in this session. A lot of people think they know when they're talking to a bot. They have a super negative connotation about that. It's an unfortunate stereotype for sure, but the final point here is lacking relevance. I've hit this one a few times thus far. No self-service can be gained if the suggestion is not relevant. Period. There's no real other way to say it, essentially. And for companies that we work with, to give you an example of kind of how this affects a larger organization that scales, we work with a company called DeLonghi that makes maybe 70 or 80 different types of coffee makers. So if a customer is reaching out, yeah, excellent. They're really good. They're really good. And it's more of a high-end service that they actually provide. But you might have 10 coffee makers. If you're reaching out about an issue with, let's say, a newer version of something that they've put out 3 or 4 lines in, and they're feeding you information from 5, 10 years ago, the previous model that you actually don't have, you're going to get frustrated very quickly. So making sure that whatever technology you use are maintained and updated to make sure they stay relevant is a constantly changing issue. So here's my main thesis. These challenges occur in the CX space, and there's a ton of challenges in every business, but CX specifically, like I said, constantly moving, constantly changing, because often we view, on both sides, customer and business, AI as a replacement for people. It doesn't need to be. So you want to, if you're going to be successfully thinking about digital transformation projects, thinking about how you can both combine, I should say, both the best parts of AI with the best parts of human support. So here's what we call hybrid support. And what it does is indeed leverages AI and people to optimize the support experience. It can stay timely by using AI in the right ways, right? Meet your customers where they're at quickly. But you can also stay personal by giving the customer the option to speak to an actual human. It's seamless if you install it in your digital channels. It can be very seamless and quick when you talk to an artificial intelligent bot, but make sure it stays relevant. Make sure you're either feeding it the relevant information or you have a human potentially on hand to get directly into what their actual issue is. Effortless and leaving a positive impression. Best of all, think about the bottom line. Cost and resource efficiency while driving value can indeed make any huge project, any digital transformation project, worth it to your business. Always think about the bottom line here. So let's see hybrid support in action, and this is where I give a little sales pitch, but I'll try not to be too pitchy. How does it work for Mavenoid? Well, we want to meet, again, the customer where they're at. You can see the support channels that we have listed here: Google, email, social media, in-app, online. Making sure we have Mavenoid accessible across those channels so that people can engage with Mavenoid as a first line of defense. That's what we're attempting to do, and we call it a self-service assistant. Now, there's no chat. in Mavenoid. It's like going to the doctor, essentially, is how our AI works. If you went to the doctor and your head hurts, he's not going to say, take 2 aspirin, call me in the morning. That doctor is going to ask, when does it hurt? Why does it hurt? Because you don't want to get Advil for something that could be much more serious. So it's a self-guided experience that's fully automated. That's what we call our product assistant. That's what we place across the most popular digital channels for our customers. Now, we play in the hardware space. Across our industries that we work in, about 40 to 45% self-service resolution rates, that's what we see. So those other 60 to 55% of people, their issues are going to get escalated. Because hardware support is hard to provide, we've built into our platform the ability to escalate to a live human. And you're not switching tabs, you're not switching systems, it all happens in one interaction. It can be through chat, but particularly unique to Mavenoid, we've also built in video support too. And that's because when you're trying to fix a physical product, it goes a long way for the customer service agent to actually be able to see that product. So within one interaction, you start with what looks like chat, guides you into hopefully a solution, with the ability to escalate to a live human who can connect with you on a video call and see the issue. Our customer service agents for the companies we work with that are using live support, they're able to tell the customer, hey, can you turn that around? Did you try this? Did you try that? You can pause the screen. You can draw on the screen, which is sort of what this little screenshot of these earbuds look like. It's very transformational. We actually developed it when COVID hit because of this need to replace physical service, on-site technician bookings, with more remote service. So it's extremely interesting, very cool. And then the final point here is making sure whatever feedback you get is looped back to improve the overall self-service experience. So the actual transcript, that feeds into our engine to inform how we can improve the self-service assistant at the front end, and on the back end, agents are able to also give their feedback on how to improve these flows. So that's how it works. Here's some additional kind of just screenshots of what it looks like, and the main takeaway here is creating a smooth start to the journey. And we work with companies, large enterprise, they sell a lot of products. So like I said, selecting the right product off the bat, also giving them the option immediately, in fact, to connect with a live support agent in case you're one of those 1 out of 3 people that prefer that. That's how it looks with Mavenoid. We have a very, very cool functionality that we call AI retrieval that is specific to the challenge of making sure everything is relevant for the customer, which for companies that have a huge amount of documentation, many manuals, many products, we like to expose through AI. We bring the correct manual into the actual fold of the conversation directly so that they can get with images, sometimes with videos, and answer directly. And then here's just an additional kind of screenshot of the high quality live support. We're fully mobile, so this is literally what it would look like on an iPhone. And the screenshot here kind of demonstrates the fact that the agent is able to pause the video and draw on the video for the customer to actually see on that piece of hardware exactly what they want to fix. So I'll keep it there with the sales pitch. I'll try to cap it there, but here's some of the world's most trusted top brands that we work with. It's a variety of industries. All of them produce hardware. So you'll see Jabra, Cambridge Audio. These are Medion as well, consumer electronics manufacturers, headphones, earbuds, smart devices. You'll also see the Husqvarnas of the world, which is a little bit more industrial, chainsaws, tractors, robotic lawnmowers, super pedestrian Voy, e-mobility. They're scooters that people are riding around many, many cities across the world now. So as long as they're hardware is different, it's hard, but the hybrid approach is what we find to help these sorts of businesses. And yeah, I'll keep the selling to a minimum and stop right there.